Hello, Susan Yasui here with another story from my life. And this one is entitled New Year's in Japan. So, I'm about to spend my fourth New Year's holiday in a row this year in Japan after a long absence of over 25 years. For 37 years, I had the most amazing New Year's Eve and day meals prepared by my Japanese chef husband. It was quite the ordeal, but so special. We'd go shopping on the 29th at a Japanese market, whether we were in Hiroshima or near Los Angeles. We were like kids in a candy store, running from aisle to aisle, grabbing all those wonderful New Year's delicacies. We bought everything for the homemade toshikoshi soba and all those beautiful winter vegetables for tempura. My Google search says that toshikoshi soba, traditionally eaten on December 31st each year, includes the long, thin buckwheat noodles of the soba, which is thought to bring long life and prosperity into the new year. The ease with which they are cut has come to be symbolic of the breaking away from the hardships of the past year. On the 30th of December of years gone by is when we spent preparing the food, cleaning and cutting the fresh veggies, deveining the fresh shrimp, making the homemade dashi soup for the soba, etc., etc., etc. Now, I put three etc's there because we did so much, long list of preparations. Then, all day on the 31st, was the tempura day. We made so much homemade tempura that we ate it with our soba that night, and all day the 1st of January was still some left over on the 2nd. I remember well my husband and our friend Tanaka-san in Hiroshima slaving over the hot stove, dropping the cold shrimp and veggies into the hot oil. They were real pros at it. There's definitely a technique to making tempura. It's not such an easy thing. But then our daughter became involved as a child, and even now, these many years later, can put on that same New Year's spread. The biggest gift from her father was his Japanese chef skills. She too is a pro. So, my first New Year's in Japan more recently found me quite alone, having lost my dear husband, along with the wonderful years of our amazing family New Year's tradition. Of course, there were friends here in Japan now, but they were busy with their own traditions. My late husband's family would have welcomed me to Hiroshima for the holiday, but there would be such a fuss over me about needing a bed rather than a futon on the tatami mat floor for sleeping, about having to sit on a chair, not the floor, and worst of all, being allergic to fish. Japan is such a big, fresh fish country, especially around New Year's. So I left them to their own traditions while I walked to the 7-Eleven convenience store for a bowl of prepared toshikoshi soba from the refrigerator section. I'm not much of an alcohol drinker, but I've always loved one of those little containers of hot sake with my toshikoshi soba on New Year's Eve. So I heated up some of my cooking sake and the store-bought soba, and then the sadness hit me. And there I was all alone, crying in my soup. The 37-year tradition was gone. I still felt so gloomy the next day, which was New Year's Day, that I finally got myself out of the house and into the snow for a long walk. I should tell you that taking a walk when I get upset about something is what pulls me out of it. So if something gets so bad that I'm just going to cry and I can't stop, then I just go for a walk and I look at things and I feel better. Anyway, the wind was cold, chilling my body and my mood. But then my attention went onto the snowflakes drifting down around me with the winter camellias poking out through their snowed branches. The flowers seemed to say, "Don't worry, it'll be all right," pulling me from my deep slump. And life did go on. I'm happy to tell you that on my second year here, I was rescued by a student who has become a dear friend. I should say my second year here this time around, because of course I was here long ago, but this time, my second year, I was rescued by a student who has become a dear friend. He took me to a soba restaurant the next New Year's Eve. I had soba and tempura along with a little flask of hot sake. Then last year, the same friend took me again, this time to an even better Toshikoshi soba experience with 100% soba noodles. You know, many of them here are actually mixed with wheat, but I find that I enjoy the 100% buckwheat noodle more. This restaurant served the authentic fare that I had been used to. Thankfully, the same friend is taking me to that same special place just in a couple days now. We're almost to December 31st again this year. But another joy has turned up in my New Year's Day here in Shiga, Japan, which I want to tell you about. I have two landlords where I live. The father is now 90 years old and the son is about to turn 62. They invited me to spend time with them last year in their old traditional Japanese home. I live in a smaller space on their property. New Year's Day here in Japan is all about family. Family members from across the country and even from abroad travel home to spend the New Year's holiday with family, eating delicious food and enjoying the special time together. I felt so honored to be invited to spend that family time with my landlord, father, and son. We are much like family now, actually. Having lived on the same property for several years, with our paths crossing almost daily. We spent hours last New Year's Day eating from a hot pot bubbling with meats and vegetables right from the garden growing just outside. In fact, at one point we ran out of the big green onions that we call leeks in America, so the son ran out back and got some more to fill the hot pot. And best of all, I've been invited to spend New Year's Day with them again this year. The sadness of that first year is nowhere near now, and I am ever so thankful for the people around me. I am thankful for being included, and I'm thankful for being welcomed and taken care of in these important traditions that became such a part of my life. After all, it was more than half of my life, actually, that I enjoyed the Japanese tradition with my husband. The Japanese traditions are as much a part of me now as those deep-rooted traditions from my American upbringing. And, you know, I am truly fortunate to have both. Well, thank you very much, and I wish you all a very happy new year. And yeah, I'll be giving you some more stories here for you to read along. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.